Hi there, care team, and welcome to My Bonus Life, episode 196. There's been a fair bit going on in my life. I am starting to feel a bit better, getting over my sickness. Also, I'm kind of getting more used to the cold. Still giving me a bit of pain, but I am learning to deal with it. Now, here's the agenda. So first thing on there is I featured in episode 110 of Len Bilello's podcast called Arrive Alive. It's ostensibly a video a podcast where we talk about motorbikes and how to arrive alive, being safe on motorbikes. And of course, I used to ride motorbikes, so that features on there. And it's so recently filmed or recorded that you might notice that in it I incorrectly say that I suffer from ankylosing spondylitis, but I now know that I actually don't. So when that bit of the podcast comes up, just remember at the time I did believe it was true. It was only after that I found out it's not true. So feel free to watch that. Len was a great guy to talk to. The recording was done with a piece of software called, I think it's Riverside, and I can't recommend it as it turns out. You'll see in the podcast that there is an echoing problem and also a voice fade out problem. Just deal with it. The bit through the middle is pretty good. There's a bad bit at the start, bad bit at the end, but stick with it. It is worth it. I probably wouldn't use Riverside again though. There you go. Now, next news is the drone school. So I have now graduated. I passed all three of my exams first go. So that's up to 7 kilo drone, then up to 25 kilo drone, and then my AROC, which is the Aviation Radio Operator's Certificate. So I've passed all of that, and I'll put in the outro my video of doing that exam. So there you go. Now onto the Holybro build. So I have now got the cameras working as a bench test. So here's a video of me getting the bench test working. I've been recently working on getting the camera working with the heads up display. This is Mission Planner. The reason I've had to block the right hand screen is it's showing my absolutely correct GPS location, which obviously I need to keep secret. But just to show you, this heads up display is taking telemetry from the drone. So if I dip it down, you'll notice the artificial horizon goes down. And if I tilt it to one side, you'll see that it pitches correctly. So I'm definitely getting telemetry through to there and this program here is called Mission Planner. The other thing I've got working is I've got the video feed. Oh, hang on, there's Caroline.
Hi.
And this is the camera here. So I've got the camera feed working into Uni GCS, and I've got the telemetry working in Mission Planner. Because of some technical limitations, I haven't been able to get them into the same program, but once I get a couple of bits of hardware, I'm going to be able to make this video feed go inside Mission Planner. So you've actually got that artificial horizon on the video feed, so you can actually fly the video. So that's basically what you have with the heads-up display. So I am getting there. I'm enjoying the journey, and it's going quite well. Back to you, Paul. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it wasn't too boring for those of you that are really here for the cancer journey, not the technical stuff. The next step is I need to change the LiDAR, and I need to change from using the real-time streaming protocol to using a HDMI feed. I just wanted to pause and talk about LiDARs for a second though. That's what they look like. So for those of you that have got Teslas and various cars that have proximity detectors on your rear bumpers, that's all it is. And just to let you know, even though if you smash that on your Tesla, they'll charge you $1,000 a sensor for it. This cost me, including shipping, 30 Australian dollars. So, which is what, 22 or something American dollars. And that's cost price to me, sale price to me. So that means they actually cost about $5 to build. So when Tesla are charging you $1,000 per sensor, trust me, they're making a heck of a lot of profit. It also shows you that when you can fix things yourself, the scope of the money you can actually save. Because if I owned a car that had a LiDAR and busted the LiDAR, I would just find an appropriate one and just desolder the wires off the car, solder new ones on it, and it'll be fixed. So that shows you the kind of money you can save when you can do things yourself. Now, next thing, the Wingman Wilcox Substack. I have done reels for episode 1 and 2, and I'll put the episode 2 in the outro, and I only filmed it about 90 minutes ago, which is why I'm wearing the same shirt as I am in that reel. I was really happy how it turned out. I used a different method for the lip syncing that I did for the episode 1 reel, and the way we did it with Caroline helping me worked heaps better. So that was groovy. So I've done reels for episodes 1 and 2, but if you go to Substack, you'll find I've actually published episodes 1 to 9. And the reason I've started doing reels is because episode 10 and 11 are quite spicy on the sexual side of things. And I know from, if you remember, there was a video maybe about 5 videos ago where I simply had the word sex in the title. And the viewer statistics for that were about 5 times normal. And it really highlighted to me that you don't have to do very much to really hype your viewing statistics. And one of the ways to do it is to have even just the word sex in the title, and a segue to something ever so slightly sexual, and your viewer statistics go nuts. So what that made me realise is that episodes 10 and 11, if I can build up my subscriber numbers on Substack before I publish them, are going to go nuts. So I'm wondering if you can help me, which is by resharing or retweeting or whatever the reels as I pump them out. So at the moment, there's episodes 1 and 2 have got reels, or on YouTube they're called shorts, and just view them, reshare them, and also obviously go to the stories and read the stories. And if you think the stories are good, then subscribe to it. If you don't like the stories, don't subscribe. I did notice some people have now not unsubscribed. They've unsubscribed from the emails, but not unsubscribed from being able to get to the website. And they've done that since I put out reel number 1, because in reel number 1, I originally had the F word in the title. And clearly some of you really don't like the F word, and you have unsubscribed from emails, or possibly even completely unsubscribed from the channel. That's okay. That's your, if you want to call it, your window of sensibilities that you're prepared to accept, and that F word is outside of your sensibilities. That's fine. The purpose of language is to convey meaning, and with my window of sensibilities, I consider the F word is within my window of sensibilities rarely. But what I would say is when you're crashing in an aeroplane, that's an appropriate time. And I promise you, we didn't say Jiminy Crickets when we were going down in the aircraft. We used the F word. And if I can give you another example, my father used the F word that I heard once. And that was when I had friends that lived in Wanneroo, which is one of the northern suburbs of Perth. And we were driving up Wanneroo Road. And as we were driving along, a car went through a red light right in front of us. And my father whacked on the brakes and screamed the F word. And I was shocked. I was just braced in my seat. Firstly, because we really had just almost had an accident, but because I'd never ever heard Dad use that word. And it really struck home because, God, it must be really bad because Dad never says that. And that's why I think the F word should be within people's window of sensibility, but at an extreme end. It's when you really need to express something that is very shocking, very scary, or whatever. And I would say crashing in an aeroplane is an appropriate time to use it. But I understand not everyone feels that way, and that's fine. So, right. So there will be some spicy language and some very spicy content in episodes 10 and 11. And in fact, there was some spicy words in episode 1. And like I say, I appreciate that some people aren't comfortable with that. So please try and grow my user base. I am going to be free on Substack, and I'm always going to be free. I did previously sign up for the paid version. I had a really, really bad experience with one person that disputed the transaction with the bank. The bank then came to me and disputed the transaction, and I said, yeah, sure, give them their money back. And then I think it was Wells Fargo, or it was definitely an American bank, it's through Stripe, slugged me with a dispute fee for every single one. So I'd pay him back $5, but $5 American dollars, but I'd be charged $25 American dollars for them having to reverse the transaction. And this person had disputed it, I think, 4 or 5 times. So it cost me over $100 US just to pay this person back. And that really annoyed me and made me think, this is not, I don't want to, my desire is to give good stories and to entertain. I'm always trying to entertain and educate at the same time. I do the same thing on YouTube, entertain and educate. And if I can just have a little gripe here, it pees me off. There's a lot of people that basically have millions and millions of followers because, for example, they're good looking and they, wear tight clothes or skip rope or something, but that gets loads of eyeballs. It pees me off because it's not a talent. Well, there's some talent to it, and certainly there's a talent in realising that it's you're able to monetize it, sure. I much prefer, though, people that are able to educate and entertain at the same time. People like Mark Rober, Stephen Fry and Hannah Fry, who I believe aren't actually related. There's some comedians that I think really educate and entertain at the same time. Jim Jeffries, for example, the Australian comedian, he did a great stand-up routine that was to do with American gun control. I thought that was very entertaining, and it was also really, really educational at the same time. So those are the types of people I really, really respect. And that's how I hope to be. I hope that I can entertain and educate at the same time. And the easiest way to do that is to be free. So there you go. My Substack will always be free. So here's the outro. So I'll put the reel for if you know, episode 2. And I might even slip in a bit of the me passing my 25 kilo drone. So here you go. Thanks a lot. Be kind to those around you, and I'll see you again soon. Catch you later. Starting motors. Taking off. So you want to keep going up to the green cone for this. To the green cone. I hope you enjoyed episode 1. So that's what my brain was like when I'd first experienced my near-death experience, and I'd come to the conclusion that if you're going to lead a life where you definitely do die, there's no point being boring. So what that meant was, from then on, I stopped leading a life that was boring, and I started doing things like hanging off the bottom of a helicopter. And episode 2 is all about that. It was because I realised that I couldn't feel the way I did before. And even now today, I feel like I can't feel the way I did before. But at the time, I was in my 20s and I was angsty. So it was more like, God, I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. Time won't change this damage anymore. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. Insecure, a little unconfident, cause you don't understand. I do what I can, but sometimes I don't make sense.